Men of Reddit, what are your thoughts of women that ask you on a date? Had a woman ask me out once. I married her. I pursued her. I didn't realize that she pursued me back. Looked for me and was so anxious that I was going to disappear. She made sure to make the next move first. I'd prefer it. Saves me wondering if they're just being friendly or actually interested. I made the first move to date my husband. I also am the one who proposed. He still wonders if she's attractive. It's flattering. Even when I don't find her attractive. She gets my respect, especially when you can see that doing so gets her out of her comfort zone. I know what it feels like to be on that side of the fence. For me, only happened twice though, so limited experience. It was flattering regardless of her attractiveness. But I still won't say yes unless I find her attractive too. It started being not flattering when she wouldn't take no for an answer and was way older than me. And I ended up having to have the homies handle it. Easy. I have no thoughts on it. It's never happened. I would have loved the girl to make the first move back when I was dating. That's what I loved about my wife. She came after me in the beginning. Takes a lot of stress off of the traditional expectations of being the man. My girlfriend, soon to be fiance, basically did all but ask me out when we first met. She made it crystal clear that she would make time for me in her busy schedule. Looking back, that took a ton of pressure off of me and made it easy to ask her out again. She always communicated when she was free and would flat out tell me that she wanted to go out with me again. I had no idea relationships could be this healthy. I had a girl ask me on a date 4 times before I said yes. I don't date co-workers and she was really into religion. The 11th of September happened and our job let us go home early. She said, I don't feel like commuting for another hour again. Want to see a movie with me? I said, why not, the world is falling apart anyway. What the hell? We saw Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. That was almost 19 years ago. Still with the girl. It's happened to me a few times. It's a very good feeling. I'm also very much into strong women who go get what they want, so it's a pretty good sign if they ask me out. Ask them to get permission from my wife for me. What if it's a trap and she's a secret friend of your wife? Please do it more. A lot of us guys are morons and can't pick up signals or are afraid to act. I always pick up on signals. Around 10 to 20 years later. Randomly in the middle of the night. I like a strong, confident woman who knows what she wants in life. That's why I said yes when she asked if I wanted to go on a date, and we've now been happily married for 15 years. To the ladies reading this, go for it. I basically confessed to my crush with the expectation of getting rejected. He's quite attractive and pretty popular, so I wasn't expecting much, just so that I can get a closure and can move on. Surprisingly, he didn't say no to me and we went on a date. Now we've been dating for a few months. You lose all the shots you didn't take. I used to work with 2 women that were best friends. One of them asked if I would go to the drive-in with them and another guy I worked with. At first I thought it was so they could use my truck. Then we could all lay in the back with blankets and pillows. And so found out her friend wanted to double date. Still dating her. IDK if this counts to ARP's question. But I did technically get asked by a woman to go on what turned out to be a date. Also we went skinny dipping and we dared the girls to make out, which was nice. Just needed to share that. It's not relevant. Even to this day many girls say they would never ask out a guy no matter how much they are into him. Even with feminism and all this talk of equality, it's still seen as the guy's job to innate it or pursue. So any girl who can find it within themselves to ask me out would win some serious points with me. And I'd personally take their sense of courage into account. It's nice. Though sometimes it genuinely does not register. A couple years back, a woman asked me on a date which I agreed to. She went on her way. And then I got a text from a mutual friend about it a couple minutes later. It was only then that I actually registered what had happened. Female here. I've done it a few times. Almost always ended positively. Rejection stings though. Props to the guys who take it in their stride. The other day I was told by an ex politely, "Never talk to me again." That was pretty brutal. Especially because I still had somewhat fond feelings towards her as a person and there really was no interest from me on getting back together. She moved far away. I was just trying to be friendly after not having spoken in some time. Turns out I was much more worthless to her than I had previously thought. Still, at least I got closure. Being ghosted is just the worst way to get rejected by someone. Fucking awesome. Badass. Confident. Even if she does so nervously, it takes confidence to do it at all. Someone who knows what they want and goes for it. Exactly the kind of person I'd want to go out with. Even if I don't find her attractive. She gets major points for making a move. I wouldn't be married had my wife not asked me out. I get social anxiety. And suck around people. I think women asking men out is great. Some men are like me and socially awkward. So it is hard for us to approach an attractive woman. Some men are also clueless and can't pick up hints that a woman is attracted to them, also like me. I know a trait that is attractive to women is a man that has confidence. But there are a lot of great men out there who have shitty self-esteem. I think I am a decent catch. At least I hope so. Or my wife has been stuck with me, putting up with my shitty for the last 23 years. Boner alert. No, just kidding. But it would feel so nice to have the societal norms be broken. I would cherish that experience because she would have demonstrated the fact that she isn't one to follow standards, but acts according to the situation. In other words, she has demonstrated that she has a noggin, knows how to use it and is capable of actions which aren't driven by cultural conditioning. I think kids call that being woke nowadays. Most guys like it. Seems like a lot of women are fine keeping that responsibility on men's shoulders. I'm on the extreme end where women should be exclusively the ones responsible for asking guys. Us guys are the ones that can't take a hint. Don't understand no means no. Can't read emotions and are just idiots. We should all play to our gender strengths. Imagine asking a man out and actually getting an answer. No mind games. Just straight honesty. Sounds perfect. Few things in life are more beautiful than a woman that is self-assured and confident enough to go fetch what she wants. Don't just sit around hoping for a man to do it first only because that's how others do it. It takes a huge amount of courage to put yourself in a position where you can be rejected like that. We understand the frequency of this sort of behavior in women. So a woman who can take a risk like that has confidence to burn. And that's rare and sexy. I've married 2 of them. First one was a great 15-year-long relationship that ended amicably. The second one is ongoing. There was another woman who asked me on a date. And then did this thing where she grabbed my hands and placed them on her breasts. I guess I wasn't picking up a more subtle signal she was sending. That one didn't end up working out in the long run. But I appreciated the gesture. Speaking from my unmarried days. That's an extremely situational question. Was she my type and did I find her attractive, or was she unattractive and blunt like you mead then snoo snoo? In general, it's nice to be asked out no matter who you are and flattering to know someone is interested. As a man and with men being more secure, it's likely I, like most men, would say yes and give her a shot. If nothing else, it would just be a pleasant evening out. 1 divorce later and I still have trust issues. Whether she's the one who asked me on a date or otherwise. I'm keeping those walls up. To answer the question anyway. I consider them brave and sincere. I certainly respect them way more than those I have to chase after. If a guy is attracted or interested in you, asking them out will not turn them off on the idea of dating you. As a corollary, if a guy says no to being asked out on a date, he most likely wasn't interested to begin with. Is not single. Or both. Do you note that taking the initiative and asking someone on a date implies that you have some idea in mind of what the date will consist of? The guy is not necessarily required to do the bulk of the work in constructing the itinerary for the date. Although a request for ideas is not impolite. As a woman who has taken the lead and asked guys out in the past, I'll provide some insight as to why more women don't do it. It's less about courage and more psychological. I took the lead with dating a guy for 6 months and it was such a minfuck. I did everything from initiating the dates, sending the first daily texts, to asking the "what are we" conversation. Because of this, I felt like I was never able to tell whether he was really into me or not because he would never take the first step in furthering things. It was hard for me to believe him too because actions speak louder than words. Men are ingrained to be hunters. When a woman takes the lead, it's harder for her to know if the guy actually likes her or if he's just going along because he thinks he's going to lead to easy sex. You know when you are walking down the stairs and you miss one step but catch yourself on the very next one? That's the sort of momentary shock it causes. I got so caught off guard the handful of times that something like that happened that it was difficult to recover and respond. It would be nice if it happened more often so that it wouldn't be so surprising when it did. Really would love it if women were in the habit of doing this more often. Not great for a guy's self-confidence to ask and get rejected. Eventually you stop trying. Well, the one time I was asked on a date, it was her friends asking for her. So I declined and said tell her to come over here if she wants to ask. It doesn't matter, for God's sake. Get it into your heads, ladies, finally. Please. You can approach anyone you want and ask out or whatever. Stop being biased by some old retarded rules made probably in times when people considered a storm god's punishment. You know what I mean. Decide on your own. Think on your own. Live like you want and stop following idiotic rules. BTW. Trust me. Men are not bitches. You're lucky, ladies, that you don't have to approach women. I'm a blunt person and get to the point. I have done this on more than one occasion because when a guy talks to me in casual conversation I can read them like a book and have gotten a lot of I like you confessions that way. Men are drawn towards self-confidence just as much as women. The healthy men, that is. Not the sexist assholes. On the other hand, that's a good way to sort out the bad apples. A few years ago, I'd be happy about it. I'd think it would show maturity and determinedness. But after years of shitty treatment from women, these days I'd be suspicious. It seems the ones who go for it are the ones who already have plans for you. I'd have to be cautious to determine if they're serious and have good intentions. It's a welcomed alternative, honestly. I wish more women would go against this social norm, as not all guys feel comfortable walking up to random women and making the first move. Fuck dude, if she picks the place I'll pay for the dinner. Meet you at 8. Don't gotta dress up if you don't want to. Meet you there. I had a girl that I didn't know very well and wasn't really into ask me out once. I said yes. Literally the only reason I went out with her is because she asked me. And it made me want to give her a chance. It happens a lot even though I'm fat, bald, and stupid. I would never cheat on my wife. Though. I think it's the combination of humor, sincere friendship, and loyalty to my friends that seem to turn them on. Jokes on them. Because I'll never leave my sweet blue-haired angel. Same as my thoughts on a man asking a woman. Is there still a societal custom where the man is supposed to ask the woman? I feel like that's very outdated. My girlfriend has always invited me on dates. Even before we became officially together. It just takes a huge weight of your shoulders being the man, and on the woman's side of things it proves to the man that you're also interested and willing to pursue something genuine and real. Which could encourage him to take some steps toward you. Sorry for my English. I respect women that take that step. Enough so that I would probably say yes even if it were a woman I hadn't thought of asking out myself. Yes, please be straightforward, don't give hints that you think are obvious. We either don't pick up on them or are too scared about what would happen on the odd chance we are wrong.